Welcome back, everyone, to another reaction video. Well, I've been intrigued since I saw the title of this one, so I thought we'd give it a go. And it's been a while since we visited our friends over at Yarnhub. Speaking of which, when we get a little closer to the release of their game, Brass Rain, you're going to see me doing some gameplay on a stream with some people maybe you've heard of before, but that's all I'll say for now. But that's for the future. This one is when a naked sailor fought a U-boat. I don't know this story. I am really intrigued, and I believe my friend Mr. Terry did a reaction to this recently, so I didn't watch it because I knew I'd probably do it as well. This one's going to be interesting. The link's down in the description so you can check it out without my commentary. Yarnhub does an incredible job. I had a Zoom call a while back with the guy who runs Yarnhub, and he was telling me a lot of what goes into making one of their videos, and there's a lot of time and resources and money that goes into making these videos, and their animation game is like second to none. It's incredible, so I think you're really going to enjoy it just based on the presentation style alone. I want to thank my friend Asher Morris. Asher, I think we're going on a tour this summer together, aren't we? Thank you so much for your support on Patreon. Let's dive into this one.
The night of August 27th, 1942. In the Caribbean Sea, the German submarine U-94 has slipped inside a screen of warships protecting a convoy of Allied merchant ships and oil tankers.
So a couple of things right off the bat, just thinking about this, right? He mentions the Caribbean Sea. This is not where we typically think of World War II happening, but it happened. It happened all over the world. And, you know, close to the Americas is one of the places where you have a lot of German U-boat activity. And it's a fascinating thing just to take a look at the charts for the number of ships that were sunk in the Atlantic theater during World War II. It's ridiculous. And it goes to show you how much shipping was happening, that many got sunk and yet so much got through.
The U-boat's running on the surface, and Captain Otto Itis is ready to strike a large Canadian corvette when he hears a shout from the lookout.
Feindliches Patrouillenflugzeug im Anflug!
Verdammt, abtauchen! Alarmtauchmanöver, sofort!
Yeah, so if you've ever seen the, it's a fictional story, but if you've seen the Apple TV show, the movie Greyhound, which is intense and I think really, really good, and they're making a sequel to it right now, they talk a lot about the importance of air cover on the coasts, and that was one of the big dangers to U-boats at that time was air cover, air spotting, and all of that. So U-boats tended to operate better in the central parts of the Atlantic Ocean where air cover couldn't protect the shipping.
The lookout scrambles down the conning tower and slams the top hatch shut.
Klar!
Tanks fluten!
The helmsman throws the controls forward, and the submarine's tanks fill with water as U-94 plunges down into the deep.
This animation's fantastic.
20 Meter.
Los, schneller!
But it's not enough. The US Navy PBY Catalina has zeroed in on their position, and it drops four 650-pound depth charges. The charges.
And you could not pay me enough to be on one of these submarines. I mean, I'm a little bit on the claustrophobic side as it is, but I mean, just the intensity. I mean, these guys were like a different breed of people, man.
Down into the water and explode around U-94.
I love the little details that you could easily miss on this, like when they just highlight what the weapon is. Like the PBY Catalina, which are typically spotter planes, but they also carry these depth charges, and then they show us what kind of depth charge this is.
The charges sink down into the water.
So Mark 7 depth charge, weight 650 pounds, charge is 290 pounds of Amatol. Has a 20-foot radius, so that gives you a sense of how close these things needed to be in order to be able to actually cause damage to the ship. Maximum setting depth 300 to 600 feet. So you set the depth based on where you think the sub is. So the further down it goes before it explodes.
And explode around U-94. Inside, the submarine rocks with every blast. The helmsman fights with the controls. The boat starts to angle downwards, but then stops.
Sie will nicht runter, Herr Kaloy.
The depth charges have torn off the bow hydroplanes. Without these control surfaces, U-94 can't get to full depth. Up above, the Catalina circles. It's used up all its depth charges. All it can do now is mark the location and call for reinforcements. The PBY drops a flare on the submarine's last known position.
Oh, nice.
Then it turns and flashes a Morse code signal to the convoy escorts.
It's really just incredible to me what they're capable of here. Just the different resources that are available. Dropping depth charges themselves, being able to signal to ships below, dropping flares to be able to mark the position. It's incredible teamwork, especially at this point in the war.
The nearest ship is the Canadian corvette HMCS Oakville, under the command of Captain Clarence King.
Submarine spotted. Crew to action stations.
Alarms ring out over the ship as Sub-Lieutenant Hal Lawrence rushes along the deck to his station, wearing nothing but his tropical shorts.
This is serious commitment, right? I mean, he's an officer, so he gets it. The importance of quickly getting to your stations. This is training. This is dedication to your craft. This is people understanding that seconds can be the difference between victory and defeat in a situation like this.
She hasn't had time to dress properly, yet still takes up his position as Chief Sonar Officer.
Lawrence,
yeah.
Get a fix on their position.
Aye, aye, sir.
Lawrence hunches over the system, straining through the headphones. The sonar system pulses out.
Wait, let's go back. We got to catch all these little
Lawrence
details.
hunches over
There's
the
so
system,
much here.
straining through the headphones.
So Type 144 ASDIC sonar. So they had hydrophones, and then they upgrade to sonar by this point in the war. Used to detect submerged U-boats by sending out sound pulses and listening for echoes called pings. It's very similar to the concept of radar, right? You're sending out sound, and then when it returns is how you can determine distance to the target and direction. Incredible technology that they didn't have, say, in World War I, to be able to accurately track down these craft.
The sonar system pulses out through the ocean ahead of Oakville.
Contact. Dead ahead.
Down below, the crew of U-94 hear every ping as it bounces off the hull of their boat. To them, it sounds like someone's flinging handfuls of gravel at the metal shell of the submarine. The German sailors stay as quiet as they possibly can, even as Ites throws them into evasive maneuvers.
Ruder Steuerbord.
Lawrence keeps the beam trained, straining his ears on the sonar system. They're
And
closing in.
once it's directly underneath you, you don't really have a bead on exactly where it is.
Then the headphones go silent.
We're almost on top of her.
Yep.
King gives the order to attack.
Get the charges away.
Captain Ites knows exactly what's coming.
Festhalten. Wasserbomben voraus.
Sailors at the stern heave the heavy canisters into position on the racks. Safety pins are yanked free, and one by one, the heavy canisters rumble down over the rack.
I mean, these things weigh 650 pounds apiece. These are big ones. These are Mark 38s. They have 425 pounds of charge. So they're obviously going to be more devastating than the ones dropped by the PBY.
And they tumble into the sea. Oakville clears the scene. Then, the ocean erupts with a chain of mighty explosions, sending towering columns of water rising high behind the corvette.
And so one of the things that they would do is, in order to determine whether or not they had actually sunk the U-boat, is they would watch for pieces of debris to float to the surface, and oil slicks was another common way. But you didn't necessarily always know for sure, because then you could use as a decoy, you could release some oil and you could release some debris and try to fool your enemy into thinking they had gotten you when they hadn't.
U-94 shudders under the concussions. There's a sound of rivets popping, and water rushes into the compartments.
Schadensmeldung. Sofort.
Herr Karloy, Wassereinbruch.
Itis knows that they're dead if they stay below. Their
Right.
chances are only slightly better on the surface, but at least they might live. Reluctantly, he gives the order.
Auftauchen. Wir kämpfen an der Oberfläche.
Water blasts out from U-94's tanks, and the boat surges upwards. The German sailors ready themselves on the ladders, waiting to jump out of the hatches and man the guns.
That was a really cool shot right there. I mean, this is all animated. That's incredible.
The German sailors ready themselves on the ladders, waiting to jump out of the hatches and man the guns.
Well done.
Over on Oakville, the crew scan the sea with their binoculars. Then they see it. The
And you got to be
U-boat-
careful here now, because you've got, on this destroyer, you've got like probably 5-inch guns, which could wreak havoc on a submarine if they can hit the target.
erupts from the depths and settles in full view of the Canadians.
Submarine, 100 yards to starboard.
At this range, King's only got seconds to react.
Full ahead. Ram it!
The helmsman adjusts course, and Oakville steams forward, aiming directly at the long grey form. As the Germans open the hatches, they immediately see the awesome sight of the Oakville at full speed, ready to ram the Germans.
Wow.
Mein Gott, die rammen uns. Alle festhalten!
Both crews brace for impact. Oakville slams into U-94's hull, but it's only
hit
a
'em.
glancing blow. Inside the U-boat, the crew are rocked as they get thrown sideways. At
Dang.
the same time, the Corvette shudders with impact and gets smacked off course.
Bring us alongside. Man the guns.
The helmsman swings the ship around in a wide turn, and Oakville heels over with the strain and brings her broadside in line with U-94. Canadian sailors sprint across the deck and take up their positions, loading machine guns and aiming down the sights.
Open fire.
Oakville's 4-inch gun opens up first.
4-inch gun.
And
Okay. So it's a BL 4-inch Mark 9, one round at a time, 13,850 yards. They can fire 12 rounds per minute. I mean, I feel like it wouldn't take that long to land a couple of hits, even though you're moving fast and you're at close range. You can fire 12 rounds a minute.
flames burst from its muzzle as the shell smashes into the U-boat's conning tower. ITES needs to respond.
Besetzt das Deckgeschütz!
The two
Yeah,
men
good luck
clamber
with
out
that.
and head towards the bow of the submarine and climb up the ladder.
So they probably
Staying
like
low,
a 2,
they
3
get
inch
into
gun?
the deck and dash towards the 88mm deck gun.
Spray
8
that
millimeter.
88.
Machine guns chatter as tracers rake the U-boat's deck and sparks explode across the gun shield. The Germans
This is the only problem with this gun is that they needed some way for this to be operated without people on the deck, right? I mean, obviously it's difficult technology for the time, but it's really what they needed in this case.
dive back down the hatch. Behind them, the 88mm hangs twisted and useless. Another hatch slams open just after the conning tower. A crewman lunges for the 20mm anti-aircraft gun. He barely clears the hatch before bullets rip through the mount. The gun jerks violently and it's torn to pieces. Oakville's 4-inch gun fires again, slamming into the conning tower and smashing through the metal skin of the submarine.
These guys
The
all in
crew
their underwear?
reload and make ready to fire again, but the gun jams.
Oh no.
Fire!
King's jaw tightens.
Rimmer again.
That sucks.
Oakville comes around and heads for the U-94 once more. The bow smashes through the churning water as the helmsman fights the waves and lines up his target.
Hold us steady.
King watches the submarine growing larger and larger as Oakville closes in on
Now
its
they're
dark
too
fort.
close. They're too close to be able to depress your gun enough to hit them.
Down on the German vessel, sailors on the bridge hold on tight to the railings as they prepare for impact. But the Corvette slices past at arm's length, missing the conning tower by a little more than feet. The sailors fire their rifles and pistols across the gap, sending bullets snapping across
This reminds me a lot of like boarding actions from, you know, the 18th century, where you've got ships right up alongside each other, and now guys are using, you know, small arms to fire at one another at point blank range. This is crazy.
Oakville's deck. The Canadians fire back with their own weapons. Some even hurl whatever objects they can find, sending empty Coke bottles shattering
amazing.
onto the U-boat's bridge. Oakville passes beyond U-94's bow and starts coming round again for another attack. Captain Ites knows that he's running out of options.
Yeah.
His only chance is to make a break for it.
Hart Steuerbord. Volle Kraft voraus.
The U-boat's engines strain, but the damaged U-boat can't possibly outrun Oakville.
No.
Prepare to ram.
This time, Oakville smashes directly into the
Oh
bow
yeah,
of
they're
the
toast.
U-boat.
Oh, there's the Brass Rain advertisement.
It's a fatal hit.
Yeah.
The submarine's motors and screws come to a juddering halt. Ites knows it's all over. All he can do now is prevent his valuable U-boat from falling into enemy hands.
Raus! Raus! Boote versenken!
Sailors open the vents and water starts pouring into the compartments. Up on Oakville's bridge, King looks down at the submarine wallowing helplessly in the ocean. It's a golden opportunity to capture an intact U-boat. Someone needs to get in there and close
Yeah.
those valves.
Lawrence, get your team ready to board.
Aye, aye,
Yeah,
sir.
this is a legit aborting action at this point. But yeah, I mean, if you're the Germans, you don't want your ship and any sensitive technology falling into enemy hands. You're going to do everything you can to scuttle it as quickly as possible. But you also have to try and save your crew.
Lawrence dashes down to the boarding locker to gear up for battle. He and his 12-man team load themselves up, each taking a .45 revolver, hand grenades, and flashlights. Like Lawrence, they're all barefoot and wearing only their shorts. They
It's
dash
an
down to
entire
the
crew of guys that are practically naked.
deck and gather at the bow right next to the 4-inch gun. They peer over the rail as Oakville inches closer and closer to the stricken U-boat.
Prepare to jump!
But then there's a catastrophic miscommunication. For some reason, the gunners decide that now is a good time to test the 4-inch gun.
What?
Lawrence sees the barrel moving around to a firing position.
Why would
and
they do
shouts
that?
a warning,
Get down!
but it's too late.
What are they
An
doing?
enormous blast erupts from the muzzle just a few yards from his boarding party. The pressure throws Lawrence to the floor.
Did it throw his
and he
clothes
blacks
off?
out before he hits the deck.
Lawrence! Lawrence! Wake up, man!
Lawrence strains his eyes open and peers to find his number 2 petty officer Art Powell slapping his face.
Jeez.
Powell helps him to his feet.
All right, boys. Let's do this.
Lawrence leaps over the railing down to the deck of U-94, 8 feet below. Landing on the deck, he feels a snapping sensation. He looks down and sees that his shorts are dangling.
That's fantastic. I love the little details like the hairy leg and he had like the hero jump there. Man, these guys have done such a great job with their
around his
videos.
ankles. The elastic is broken and Lawrence kicks the useless shorts over the side.
That's amazing.
Art Powell comes crashing down next to Lawrence. He can't believe what he's seeing, but they've got bigger problems than missing
Let's go,
shorts.
guys.
Behind them, Oakville is in trouble. The ramming attacks have torn open some of the ship's hull plates. Down below, water rushes into the boiler room. It
A very conveniently placed angle there, as you do in movies and TV
could
shows.
be catastrophic.
Cut the engines.
The rough seas begin pushing Oakville away from U-94.
Oh, jeez. He's
The
all by
gap
him-
opens
they're
up,
all by themselves
and it's
now.
too far for the rest of the boarding team to jump. Lawrence and
What?
Powell are on their own. The two men move forward towards the conning tower, steadying themselves as the deck rocks in the foaming ocean. Finally, they reach the ladder and get ready to climb up onto the bridge. Suddenly, the rear hatch slams open, just a few meters in front of them. Two men raise their weapons, ready to face the new threat.
Probably
out
evacuating
with
the
your
crew. Oh, it's
hands
the
up.
captain.
Captain
an Iron
Gittis
Cross.
and his executive officer climb out of the hatch and pull themselves up in front of the Canadians.
At the hull.
The German captain locks eyes with the Canadian. Then he looks down, then up again. He's equal parts confused and horrified.
Yeah, I mean, absent the context of this, the captain's like, what on earth are we dealing with here? We've got two guys separated from their ship. One of them's freaking naked, and he's pointing a gun at me.
Was glaubst du, was sie mit uns vorhaben?
Ich will's lieber nicht wissen.
I don't want to
Gittis
find
and
out.
his executive officer leap off the side of the submarine
What?
and start swimming away as quickly as possible. Lawrence and Powell dash over as the two Germans disappear off into the darkness. And if you want to fight in some of the battles that
Brass
we've
Rain.
covered, you can with our new game, Brass Rain. It's available to wishlist on Steam. It's going to be multiplayer and free to play, so join the community on the battlefield and wishlist Brass Rain today.
They won't make it far in these waves.
Right. Up to the bridge.
They scramble up the ladder. pulling
Right, yeah, your
themselves up
mission
onto
right
the
now is not to worry about the captain and executive officer. Your mission is to keep the sub from sinking.
bridge.
Let's get them all out.
Lawrence shouts down to the Germans.
I
Oh, boy.
promise I won't shoot. Come up and you'll be all right.
It's a simple choice.
Come and see here.
Stay below and drown, or come up top and surrender. The Germans rush up the ladder and scramble onto the deck. Our Powell quickly takes control
What
of
is the deal with the Canadians? Why are they fighting naked?
the situation.
Everybody, get down onto the deck.
Lawrence free to climb down the ladder and into the conning tower. Hand over hand, he descends into the pitch-black void. Steadying himself, he recognizes the submarine's control room from the captured manuals he's studied over the years.
It's already sinking.
Somewhere on the port side should be the flooding valves. If he can switch those off, he can save this U-boat. He reaches out and runs his hands across the handles, but something's wrong. He can't find the controls he needs.
They
The
break it
Germans
off?
might have smashed the handles off before he arrived. Suddenly, there's an enormous thud that rocks
Oh,
the entire
dude.
hull. The compartments are collapsing under pressure.
Come on, sir! She's going down!
With disappointment, Lawrence pulls himself away from the surge and swims through the flooded interior towards the ladder. He climbs the slick metal rungs. He realizes the Germans got the better of him and admits defeat.
Get everyone off, now.
The prisoners and the Canadians leap into the water and swim away from the sinking U-boat. They watch solemnly as the boat tips its nose down, raises its screws into the air, and sinks beneath the waves. Lawrence, Powell, and their German prisoners were rescued from the water shortly afterwards. The 2 Canadians received medals for their bravery.
So there's an actual picture of him. That's pretty cool. Sub-lieutenant, I guess maybe it would be, huh? Hal, do they do that in the Navy as well, or is that just an Army thing that they say lieutenant? And Stoker Petty Officer Art Powell in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
While Captain Otto Ittis was taken prisoner with his crew
Lived until 1982. Okay.
and spent the rest of the war in the U.S.
So after 1942 battle with the U-94, HMCS Oakville underwent temporary repairs at Guantanamo in Cuba before sailing to Halifax in Canada for major repairs. Actually, so give me a second here. Well, no, Nova Scotia. Okay. Yeah, Nova Scotia is part of Canada. I was confusing with Newfoundland, which wasn't part of Canada yet. For major repairs and modifications. She later resumed service as an escort vessel and was sold to Venezuela after the war, where she was renamed Patria, which is like fatherland, I guess.
as a POW.
All right. All right, like I said, they do a fantastic job with their videos. I learned some things. I didn't really know that story at all, so that was really fascinating to watch. I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. If there's another video from Yarnhub that you'd like me to take a look at, let me know in the comment section below. Just say the title of the video. If you post a link, it'll get filtered out by YouTube, the anti-spam stuff. But I do have a couple of videos I'm going to put up on the screen here in just a second, so check those out. And I want to thank, and these are the usernames that I have, The One Lebanese and Baron Takedown for your support on Patreon. Thank you so much. See you again soon. Thanks for watching.